The government's renters' rights bill, is it already backfiring on tenants? My name's Russell Leeds.
And I'm Anna Leeds.
And welcome to the Property Investors Podcast. So we are merely weeks into the renters' rights bill, and I'm already seeing negative effects, not for landlords, although someone just asked me, who's it better for, landlords or tenants? I'm like, it's kind of bad for both.
Yeah.
But we're seeing sort of unintended consequences that are hitting tenants already, and it's been weeks.
Yeah. Well, should we take a look at, so on the 1st of May, some of these actually came in, didn't they, as this is now law, this is what's happening. So what were the changes that came in on the 1st of May?
So it's quite a few changes that came in. The first is the end of fixed tenancies.
Yep.
So there are no more fixed. It was ASTs, wasn't it, before? You have fixed term, maybe. We've had this ourselves as tenants, where.
Well, again, we're a bit mixed on this because as having tenants ourselves and being tenants, there's pros and cons, isn't there?
Yeah, and I actually quite like this one.
Yeah, because it is nice to move. We've been absolutely screwed in the past where we've signed a contract for years, moved out and just had to pay for a property we don't live in for years, which seems really unfair.
Yeah, I mean, years?
It was 18, well, it felt years, it was 18 months.
18 months.
But literally, as we signed 18 months, we moved out the following month. So it felt like we had that property for so long after. It just became our side party house property.
We made a bit of use of it, but yeah, you're right, and that was a nightmare. So all tenants are now periodic, monthly rolling, and there's no end date. So that's a big one. Rent controls.
Yeah.
Here's another one, and this is one of the negative. This has actually brought around, I think, certainly a short-term negative consequence. So rent controls, landlords can only put up their rent once a year.
Yeah.
And they must give at least 2 months' notice. Now, again, I mean, I don't think that's the end of the world as a bad change. Like, you shouldn't really be putting it up all the time. But they don't put it up all the time anyway. It's kind of one of those unintended, it's one of those fair. But was it needed?
Yeah. Did we need that actually look? Because obviously, if you move into a property, if every month your landlord's coming going, I'm up in the rent, you just move out, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So what did we see? Because as a direct result of that law, what did landlords do before May 1st? Put the rents up.
Yeah, of course.
So landlords can only put rents once a year.
Another one, with you now can't put on no pets, no discrimination. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to put no DSS, no pets. No, I mean, back in the day, you could say anything. Some people didn't want families. Some people, I remember seeing somewhere it was literally no children, and I remember thinking, woof, wow. But if it was in a small apartment block and no one had children, they sometimes did put no children allowed.
Yeah, I heard when I was in America, I was chatting to someone, and they said there are literally people because I don't know what the law is, and it's a different rule. But imagine it's like no pets, for example, right? Yeah. It wasn't that, but they're ringing up people and going like, "Oh, do you accept pets?" And if they say no, they are then going, "Oh, okay, no problem," and then suing them.
So, is this law already in America then?
And it's a different law. I can't wait.
But they're not allowed to say.
There's certain discrimination that you can't accept. I think it's something to do with the. I actually can't remember what. I think it was something to do with them being on benefits or something. Okay. And it's like, oh, do you accept so and so? And if you say no, or they just email in, do you accept so and so? If they say no, they then sue you immediately, and it's like a trap that people are using over and over again. So I don't know if that will come in here, but yeah, no pets.
And again, it's one of those that we had a dog for 15 years, and we used to get burnt by this all the time, didn't we? So many houses say no pets.
But it's kind of like. It's their house.
Yeah, and I see it from both sides. I mean, it'll be a lot easier to rent with the dog all of a sudden. But at the same time, people with pets can be really disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, no offence to cats, but cats climb everywhere as well, and get
their hair everywhere.
All on the furniture, up on the cupboards. I mean, we say in a lot of our properties, well, we don't say no pet, well, we're doing it as SA, but obviously, we tend to say no pets.
We always say no pets because when we're renting out short stay lets.
Yeah, because again, you can obviously do Airbnb and say pets, but the clean's a lot more, and it's just
Also, right, for me personally, I don't want to stay somewhere where they do allow pets.
No, because then I'm thinking, there's probably hair. And then some people are oh, my dog sleeps on the bed. Oh, no.
Yeah,
that's
not a fan. And when we had a dog, again, so this burnt us in a way, but when we had a dog, for 15 years.
We had it probably the other way round.
We just have. It was like, okay, well, we can't rent there then.
Yeah.
In the same way that it's like it's like saying cars you have to have 5 seats, because what about people with 3 kids? It's like, yeah, but if you've got 3 kids, just don't buy a 2-seater. Don't buy a 5-seater. It's like, just there's different options available, and just go for the ones that will accept pets.
Yeah, he was
why
never
force everyone?
Yeah.
I like a free market. I don't like the government getting involved.
Well, yeah, and all those rules seem just, like you said, a lot of people just abided by, like, yeah, there might be a bit of a bidding war, but it wasn't extreme. Yeah, there's some houses that don't let pets, but some do.
But if you take the mick, let's say I'm a landlord, right, and I'm like, I want 6 months up front, not renting unless you give me 6 months up front. Guess what? They'll just rent from someone else.
Yeah.
And then they can make a decision. It's not like I'm saying 1 month up front and then they move in. I'm like, now you've got to pay me an extra 5 months because you moved in already. No, you've got a willing buyer and a willing seller beforehand.
Yeah.
You've arranged it. Like, why are the government dictating how we do business?
Yeah, that's why.
Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Just leave it.
Yeah.
It was fine before.
Yeah, it's almost trying to fix problems that weren't there.
Yeah.
To make it sound good. Like how they spin it sounds like, oh, we're doing it for the people. But no, I feel like that's what they say. So everyone goes, oh, but it's such a farce.
It is. And then coming in soon, so this is like phase 2 of the Renters' Rights Act. This hasn't actually come in yet, but there's going to be a PRS landlord database. It's going to roll out at the end of the year, and basically all landlords have got to be on the database and prove that they're doing everything correctly and whatnot. Okay, so that's what it is. So
basically, they brought this in. Labour did. This was meant to be, woohoo, this is all for the tenants. All the tenants are going, yeah, they're doing this for us. But there's actually been some massive consequences to these that it all sounds good on paper. But then let's take a look then at how has this actually affected tenants, the property market? What are going to be the consequences of this that aren't as good for the tenants?
Well, not even going to be. This is already happening.
Yep.
We're already seeing it, even though we're a few weeks in. In fact, we were already seeing unintended consequences that were hurting the tenants before it even came in, just because landlords knew it was coming in.
Yep.
So here's the first one. Landlords, and I don't think this is a secret, landlords are exiting the market. Now, they're doing this in a couple of ways. One way is that they're selling.
Yeah.
And we're seeing landlords
And I think
selling.
this is what the government wants.
Yeah.
I think the government are trying to drive out the small landlords.
Yeah.
They're like the big companies, of course, owning all the property, but they're trying someone who's just got 4 or 5 properties, do them as buy-to-lets. They're trying to get them out. Yeah.
So the first thing is they're selling. The second thing they're doing is, and I've seen this loads online, people are saying in the comments, I'm just going to do short stay lets. I'm going to do service accommodation. Like, why would I rent to a tenant who now I can't... we forgot to mention, actually, as well, a big one, but the scrapping of no-fault evictions.
Oh, yeah, of course, yes.
So now you've got to prove fault, which means you've got to go to court.
Yeah.
To prove fault, which is a pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah.
Because going to court is a nightmare. So, as someone who was a letting agent for many, many years, I would only ever serve Section 21 no-fault eviction, even when there was fault. Because proving it was too much of a pain.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it, exactly. So they've got rid of that as well, which, again, sounds great on paper. But in reality...
Yeah.
So big things that are happening. Landlords are exiting the market. The Mortgage Works did a report, and they showed that year on year, residential buy-to-let investment transactions have fallen by 44%.
Well, we were just chatting to someone, and they asked us, "Where's the best place to invest now?" And the truth is, for buy-to-let, probably nowhere. Like, if you're actually being truthful, to just do a bog standard buy to let, like with nothing else, with nothing clever, like BRI.
Nowhere's
Nowhere in England.
No, you're kind of relying on. You kind of, like we've always said, and I always think this. Your focus is cash flow. So when you're buying a property, you want to be making sure that you make good cash flow from that property. Capital appreciation is a bonus.
And where are you going to get that now in any part of England? on a standard buy-to-let.
Best yields, not amazing now, but best yields are, up north, places like Liverpool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. It's tough. It's a tough market right now. It's a tough market.
So like you were just making the point, what you end up seeing now is people are like, oh, well, yeah, I'm going to turn mine into SA, holiday let. Why would you not? People are converting them into HMOs.
Yeah, they don't want to hassle. Don't want to risk.
Yeah.
Because if you're not making, let's say you're making 200 quid a month, right? So you're not making a lot of money. But then you get a bad tenant.
Yeah.
Who doesn't pay you for 6 months.
And now you're going to struggle to get out.
So now you've lost 6 grand.
Yeah.
Well, how long is it going to take you to make that 200 quid back?
Yeah.
A landlord's looking at it and going, the 200 quid's not worth it.
No.
Yes, I might make 200 quid a month. But if it goes wrong, I lose 6 grand getting this person out, or 10 grand, or whatever it is, could be a lot more, paying off my mortgage and loss of income over that period. Well, now it's going to take me years just to break even again. Yeah. So I get it. I do get it.
Oh, yeah. I totally
And you're never going to get the money out of these guys.
No, because they have made it. So, yeah, it's easier in that situation for the tenants. Because like you say, you've now got to go to court, prove it. And like you say, you don't stop just because the tenant's not paying. You don't get, oh, well, don't worry, don't pay your mortgage then until they've started paying or you've recouped your money. And it can send landlords into if they had 4 properties that went bad, well, they wouldn't be able to afford to live.
Yeah.
So I see why people are selling up. Small landlords, I can see. It's a shame. It's such a shame.
So it hits landlords, but it hits tenants.
Yeah.
Because when landlords sell up and there's less supply, right? So they've just moved an analysis, and this is what their data suggests, right? Have a guess. Each property that goes on the market for rent, have a guess. Typically, how many tenants are bidding on that property right now?
On each individual.
On each individual property.
Are you even going to give us a starting what it used to be?
No.
No. This is hard for me because I don't know if this will vary from kind of.
If you got if we put our property on.
Yeah, I'm thinking of
how many would we not typically get interested in making offers?
Probably 5 or 6.
5 or 6. So what do you reckon it is?
20.
You're very close. 17.
17, yeah.
So with all these landlords selling up or renting out their property as service accommodation, what's happened is now landlords now they can't bid anymore, can't do that. But what do? They just put the prices up.
Yeah, of course.
And prices are surging. Prices are going up like crazy. So this.
Yeah, because if there's less demand, of course they do.
So this has really hit tenants like immediately, day one. So, we're going to help tenants.
I didn't mean less demand. I meant less supply.
Yeah, less supply, more demand.
Yeah, of course.
I just heard an ad when we were on the way here on the radio, and it was basically promoting the Renters' Rights Act. Fairer for tenants, better for tenants. It isn't.
No, it isn't.
It's worse. Every time the government interferes, they fiddle with a free market. They make it worse.
Yeah, and I also love the fact they massively promote, and everyone gets behind it and thinks, yeah, the small landlords, so someone who owns 3 or 4 properties, look at him making money off people, boo, gets push them out. But then it's like people have this idea in their head that you do realise these properties aren't then just who do you think? Someone's got to own them. And all that's happening is the big corporations are coming in, the banks and that to buy them. And it's like some people think in their head that if the banks own all of them, we're suddenly going to be they're going to all put the rents down. Everyone's going to have a really cheap property to live in. I mean, what kind of delusional...
Do you know what it is? They think... They think if individual landlords don't own it, it means that people will buy it themselves. They'll own their own homes. But if people can't afford their own homes...
Yeah.
They can't. So you're right, it's going to be the corporations. All right, here's the next one. Next big consequence. It's already happening. It's not it might happen. This has been it is happening right now, is landlords are not accepting, should we say, poorer quality tenants.
Yeah. Which is crazy because it looks like, it's going, now you're allowed dogs. They can't say no children. They can't say no DSS, but come on.
You've got 17 people offering on your property.
Yeah.
You're going to pick the best ones with the best credit, with the best references. Also,
the only way you can make that fair, where it wouldn't ripple like that, would be to say, first come, first serve. Whoever puts down first and says, I'm going to pay, I want that, so the landlord doesn't have a choice. So it's like, well, you can't say that. I know that person's got a dog, but they've said they can pay.
You can still choose. You can't.
That's what I mean.
Use the dog as an excuse not to have them, but you still get to assess your options. And
exactly. So you totally could, without saying, never pick someone with a dog, couldn't you?
Unless it was that they were obviously the better candidate, and then they complained, and they were like, "Well, why? Let's have a look at the two cases." You possibly could.
But how could they possibly say if you even had two people that on paper look the exact same?
Forget the dog though. Imagine if you had a slightly bad credit rating.
Yeah.
No, who's going to accept you now?
Yeah.
If you've got a bad credit rating, what landlord in their right mind
is going to
bring you in when they can't evict you?
Yeah.
When they've got to go to the court system, and it might take 8 months.
But like you say, it sounds good. Oh, now landlords don't have rights. They can't say that you can't have dogs, but they still get to pick. They like
when we managed HMOs, because the type of this was years ago now. Type of contract that we used, it was a license agreement. We talked about this. You can't use these anymore. But what it meant was we could do minimal credit checks because it was easy come, easy go. We could do minimal credit checks. We could take a minimum deposit, very minimal, sometimes zero deposit. And people could move in. It gave them flexibility. Now, it also gave us flexibility. It was a win-win.
Yeah.
We've taken that option away now by saying this is the only way that you can rent a property. This way. You have to have those poorer tenants, those tenants with bad credit ratings, those tenants that might be able to compete on other factors like, I've got a really bad credit rating, but you give me 2 months' notice and I'll be gone. I've got no rights.
Yeah.
That was the deal.
But now...
Now that's gone now.
Well, yeah, because also, even though now there's to get someone out, it might take you quite a few months through the courts, and it's looking a bit like, it really goes in the tenant's favour. If you actually get kicked out now, it actually, you get a black mark against your name. How on earth? So if you make a big mistake when you're 17 because you were an idiot and you didn't pay rent, and you're going to live with those consequences forever. Like, who is going to rent to you again?
Well, does it last forever?
Well, I don't know.
Well, if you get like a CCJ, for example, which is a bad, right?
Yeah.
You're not paid. It stays on your credit file for 6 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a long time if you're looking to rent, and it's on your file for 6 years.
Another consequence is, it sounds good, like to the tenants, they can't kick us out easily. But in the past, if you got kicked out, you could kind of just then slope off, rent with someone else.
Oh, yeah, because it was no fault.
Yeah.
Even when you were at fault.
Yeah, and it just was like, off you went. Now, if you get kicked out, it actually is on your record. And it's on your record for 6 years.
Which is huge.
So in that 6 years, when you're trying to rent again, what landlord, when we're saying 17 people per property are coming to, why would they ever see yours and go, oh, black mark, this person got kicked out, was a problem tenant? Are they ever going to pick you? You're going to be like screwed for years, aren't you?
You are. If you fail to pay your rent, so this is actually a bonus for landlords.
Yeah, I think
in some ways, some people won't care, but then how are they going to rent?
Yeah,
it's going to end up probably going to the council, housing or something, but terrible. Another negative consequence is the courts are overwhelmed. They're already overwhelmed. The Ministry of Justice data showed repossessions by county court bailiffs increased by 3%, with a median claim to repossession timelines at 27 weeks. All evictions now require court orders. The backlog's just going to get worse and worse and worse. It's already gone up by 3%, and we're like a couple of weeks in.
That's crazy. I mean, I dread to think how long it's going to be if you have got a tenant to get it through the court system. And
the courts being slow hurts everyone in the UK because our whole legal system, so it hurts all of us. And here's another one, which is correct. Do you know how they're like the landlords? You've got to be prepared, landlords. You've got to send this letter. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Right? Of the 20 major councils that were surveyed, have a guess how many of them said, we're ready for this.
Ooh. Well, I think anything under 50 would be a disgrace. So I'll go 50%.
50%. It is 25% are ready.
Oh.
75% aren't prepared, aren't ready to actually enforce. Like, they've brought it into law. We need to be ready. Landlords need to be ready. Tenants need to be ready. Apparently the courts are ready. The councils aren't ready to enforce this.
Who did that survey? Because that's so funny, isn't it? To then, like, just out themselves on being really crap. And just to let you know, only 25% of them are ready. Like,
I know.
Do you think the government are going to go on to do anything to try and fix any of these problems, or do you think they'll stick by? Well, I read this morning that they want him out. They want him to resign by 10 p.m. today.
I mean, so far he's resisted that, but I think he's got bigger problems than this now.
Yeah, this isn't going to be top of his list to try and...
It will be very interesting, though. The fact that the country has just voted, the fact that the Tories and Labour did so badly. I mean, that's unprecedented.
Yeah, because normally one dominates, don't they?
Yeah, you see, it's not surprising that Labour did bad.
Yeah.
What's shocking is, because normally when Tories do bad, Labour does well.
Yeah.
When Labour does bad, Tories do well. And we just...
And then the ones below just dilly-dally, like...
They're there.
Yeah.
They're making up the numbers.
Yeah,
really.
they're the token pies for people that aren't with the big two.
Yeah. And then maybe the Lib Dems might, if they're both doing really bad, might, we had the coalition government, didn't we, maybe. To see Reform, who weren't even a party not that long ago, come in and look, here are our policies, and the whole country is voting for them. That is major. So maybe they'll wake up and go, holy crap, we've gone wrong here.
Yeah.
We're really wrong. Both of us.
It's not just one of those parties. It would suggest both.
And if we don't get this right soon,
we're going to have
We've got 3 years to nail this before the next general election. Or is it 3 years general election? I think it is. We've got 3 years to get this right. And if we don't,
maybe it was the wake up call they needed to. But that would be a shock, wouldn't it, if Reform got in?
Do you want Keir Starmer to go?
I don't know, if I'm being totally honest, because I could say yes, but then the next person that comes in, I have no faith would do any better. So I kind of think, do I like Keir Starmer particularly? No. But do I think they'd bring in anyone I'd like either? No.
I want him to stay in just because he's dragging the whole party down.
Yeah.
Like, what if someone comes in and they're just as bad, but they're charismatic?
Yeah.
Like, and then people get won over by that. Like that. Just keep Kerr in. He's sinking the ship. It's a bit like you've got a football team and they've got a manager who's doing badly. A football team that I don't like Liverpool.
Yeah.
They're like, do you want to sack on? No, keep Arnie's slot. keep him in. He's doing a great job.
But when has the last been a PM that people have actually, that you feel like, they did a solid job, and then
Winston Churchill? Pretty good job.
Yeah, but that's what without taking the absolute pay, like, when was the last good PM? Like, haven't all the last ones been like, they had to step down? They've all been just, and none of them have been like...
I think Cameron did good for a time.
Yes.
Cameron did all right for a time. Blair was very popular when he first got
it, but wasn't when he got re-elected. Then it all fell to pot.
Yeah.
But he's the last one, really, Blair, where I felt like
the country was behind him.
Yeah, I just feel like now.
You say that, and that was 1997. I mean, we were kids.
Yeah, but I kind of think now
we might be wrong.
I could say I don't want Keir Starmer, but then what other joke's going to come in? So,
what do you guys think? Should we keep Keir Starmer? Has he already gone?
Yeah, he could be already gone at this point.
Let us know in the chat. So what do you think then that landlords or investors, like, what do you think they should be doing right, like, now?
So we're looking at landlords now.
Looking at landlords, right. If you were a landlord right now...
I mean, if I was a landlord right now, I would be doing what I do and just be doing serviced accommodation, HMOs.
So switch strategy. I mean, HMO's got the same problem. HMOs, you still got APTs.
Yeah.
Yes, you're making more cash flow, but you still got the same problem.
But then you've got the bigger margins to play with.
I've made a little checklist. So,
or BRRs. I'd be doing BRRs.
Yeah, or flips.
Or flips. But what I probably wouldn't be doing is just
generic buy-to-let. If you are, though, here's a little checklist for you. So this is what you need to do. Number 1, by the end of the month, 31st of May 2026, depending on when you're watching this, you must serve... So do this now. The Government Renters' Rights Act information sheet to all existing tenants. And you need proof that you've done that. So just sending it them is not enough. You need proof that they've got it. I actually did my best strategy for this. I think we talked about before sending it by Royal Mail recorded delivery. I sent it by WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Because you get the 2 blue ticks.
Yeah.
You've got to send the PDF though, not just the link, PDF. And then I said, because you were like, I don't know if the blue ticks is enough.
Yeah.
So we were like, could you also just confirm that you've received this? And
I thought, what kind of person is going to say no to that? Like, no. I mean, only someone really unreasonable that's probably going to cause you problems. Any normal person's going to go, yeah, read it.
And just
a disclaimer there. We actually do have buy-to-let properties. I made out we didn't have any there. And we do. And if any of them are watching, we have no intention of kicking you out and turning them into, like, just because we actually do have buy-to-lets, and I don't want them to think they're the next out and we're going to turn them into essays.
Yeah, 100%. Next, I would say be more vigorous when you're vetting tenants. So what I think you should do is rigorously perform background checks, credit checks before you put a tenant in, because bear in mind, it could be a nightmare to get them out. Do you know a bit like when you hire someone and they say, hire slow, you should like move a tenant in slow.
And they say fire fast, but you can't actually do that. You
can't fire fast. You got fire slow as well, unfortunately. It's just the rules. But yeah, put them in slow.
You can't really use that saying for...
The saying doesn't work. Works for employment, doesn't work for this. It doesn't really work for employment anymore either, does it?
No,
I suppose what it means is start the firing process fast if they're bad.
Oh, I think what it means when... Do you know how when people are on probation and you can fire them in the first 6 months?
Yeah.
I think it means fire them then.
Like really fast.
Really fast. I think that's what it means, because then it's like you can get them out. So it's like if they come, you just just fire them.
And then the final thing I would do is a lot what you mentioned is have a look at if you do have a tenant moving out. I don't ever think you should evict a tenant personally, although not a lot of people. Oh, that's another one actually. I've seen a lot of people say this. They're evicting their tenants to put them on service accommodation. I saw one guy and he was like, I've had this tenant for 11 years. But I don't want to be a buy-to-let landlord anymore.
Yeah, which is why I made the disclaimer, just to let our buy-to-let tenants know we're not changing. I would not buy a buy-to-let now, just to sum that bit up.
Yeah, so good tenants.
But I wouldn't be kicking out my good tenants.
Of 11 years.
Yeah.
Can you imagine living in a house for 11 years and you get evicted because of this?
Yeah, that'd be so annoying.
The government have done this. The government have done this to tenants. It's not.
And I can see why landlords are doing it. I wouldn't, because
I think it's harsh, but
I can see why people
out for
are.
number one, aren't they?
Yeah. And when it comes to it, that's what everyone does in the end. Like, I say we wouldn't now, but suddenly if mortgages went up and it was like, actually, just...
we're making a loss.
Then maybe I would. Like, but, you know, I wouldn't... Because we've got some tenants that we've got really good tenants that have been in for years, and I wouldn't kick them out to turn them into SA. But would I ever buy a buy-to-let now? No. I'd be looking for properties that I could run as SA, or... you know, other things, or do BRRs. I certainly wouldn't just be going around thinking, oh, let me find myself a little buy-to-let. And, how awful for people now are getting kicked out. But I can see it from the landlord's point of view. They don't, because also you haven't got the same risks, have you? It's not just about, you make more money. Like you say, you haven't got the same problems with people coming in on short stay lets, kicking them out.
Yeah.
So
it's a shame. There you go. Let us know. Have you seen this? If you're a landlord or you're a tenant, what have been the unintended or maybe intended consequences that you've seen so far?
I'd love to hear from people, because at the moment we're not renting anywhere. Well, we're not looking to get a new rental property to live in. I'd be interested now to see, have people noticed it's hard, like people who are now trying to rent somewhere? Is it harder? Is it more competitive? When you go, is it like, oh my gosh, I was one of 17, I just can't get a property? Like, how difficult is it now to actually rent? I'd be very intrigued to know.
Let us know in the comments. I'm Russell Leeds.
I'm Anna Leeds.
See you next week.